Hi, and welcome to my daily devotional for Thursday, the 14th of April. Our reading is from Luke chapter 22 and verses 17 to 20. And receiving a cup and giving thanks, he said, "Take this and share it between you. For I tell you that I will not drink of the fruit of the vine from now until the kingdom of God should come." Taking a loaf of bread and giving thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body given for your sake. You must do this in remembrance of me." And after the meal he took the cup in the same way, saying, "This is the cup of the new covenant in my blood, which is being poured out on your behalf." Luke has not recorded for us all the details of the Passover meal, and perhaps there are a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, he may have assumed that his readers were familiar with these details and therefore did not need to record them. Secondly, they are not recorded because God saw fit not to include them as part of his word for all generations. We can only briefly consider the foundations of what is known as the Lord's Supper. Luke does record something that is not in either Mark or Matthew, and that is the mention of 2 cups instead of 1. During the Passover meal, they actually drank 4 cups. Of the 4 cups partaken at Passover, it could be that the one Luke mentions is the second cup, which was the cup of thanksgiving for God's deliverance of his people from slavery in Egypt. It is following this that Jesus takes the loaf and breaks it and distributes it to the disciples. During the Passover meal, a 3rd cup would have been taken, and then after the meal was completed, a 4th cup. It is this cup that Jesus used when he said that it was the new covenant in his blood. Jesus took the old covenant Passover meal and filled it with a dynamic new covenant, which was to be written with his blood. They were celebrating the deliverance of Israel, and Jesus was changing that celebration into the one that celebrates the deliverance of the whole world from sin and death through his death on the cross. The Passover was a remembrance of how God had graciously delivered their forefathers from bondage to Egypt. As we break bread and drink from the cup, we remember how Jesus has delivered us from our bondage to sin and death. Through his becoming our Passover lamb, he has brought to us the salvation of God. Therefore, whenever we eat or drink, we continue to announce the Lord's death until he comes. Have a blessed day celebrating the salvation of God.